According to the analytics, the average YouTube viewer has about a 7-second attention span, so I'm going to be very quick to explain the title before you all call me a racist. I think about 95% of people in the Harry Potter universe could actually be race swapped to a degree. Again, about 95%. There's certain characters that really wouldn't work as a person of colour, and vice versa. You can't really have someone called Cho Chang be a white person. This is all something I want to talk about because recently it has now been confirmed for the new Harry Potter show that's coming out next year that a black man is going to be playing Professor Snape. And I'm here to point out why that's not a good idea. Now, I hate the term woke culture because a lot of people seem to be getting pissed off for the wrong reason. I want to say that I don't really care what's written in the book. I mean, Jesus was a Middle Eastern man, and in almost every depiction in any movie ever, he's played by a white fella. Jesus wasn't white, guys. It's irrelevant. I don't care if J.K. Rowling wrote that Albus Dumbledore was a Vietnamese transgender. It doesn't matter. He's a principal in a magic school. Why does that mean he has to be white? It's something that I think says a lot more about the people who are kicking off just at the sole fact that Professor Snape is now black. People are saying, no, it wasn't written that way. This is woke. This is bullshit. And it's just pathetic. This also happened with The Whale. People kicked off because Brendan Fraser isn't actually fat and therefore he hasn't been through the struggles and they should have actually cast a genuine fat person. Are you aware what acting is? I've seen people say that only gay actors should be able to play gay roles. Why? It's called acting. Neil Patrick Harris and Jim Parsons both did phenomenal jobs as gay men playing heterosexual characters. I mean, no one cared when the Matilda stage musical cast a man as Miss Trunchbull. And then there's other cases of race swapping that worked really well, like Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, Lawrence Fishburne as Perry White, Zendaya as Mary Jane, Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent, Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I mean, people kicked off once that they were going to have a black Superman, even though the comics literally had a black Superman. It's acting, and it can be done vice versa. Jim Carrey and Ewan McGregor, straight actors who did great jobs playing gay characters. It's literally the definition of acting. Let's just say Jim Parsons auditioned to play Freddie Mercury, and so did Sacha Baron Cohen, and Sacha Baron Cohen gave a better performance. You would pick Sacha Baron Cohen. Regardless of sexuality, he just gave the better performance. This is things that's happened in the likes of Night of the Living Dead. The original, it was a big deal that the lead character in a slasher film was, or a horror film rather, was a man of colour. But the director Romero admitted, I didn't really notice. He just gave the better performance. It didn't matter if he was black or Chinese or anything. He just gave the better performance. This also happened in The Craft. One of the friends wasn't supposed to be of colour. Turned out that she gave the best performance, and then they ended up working it into the script. These things just happen. It should just be based on the performance. The way I see it, if it's based on a character, if it affects the characteristics, then I understand it. Like, for example, they did a series a few years ago where Anne Boleyn was black. But that doesn't make any sense because, one, Henry VIII would not marry a person of colour, and two, in that time period, a person of colour wouldn't be allowed to marry the king anyway. In that instance, it would be like making a movie about Martin Luther King and casting Brad Pitt. It doesn't make sense to cast a person of colour in a role where that character doesn't make any sense. Let's just cast Denzel Washington as Adolf Hitler. It doesn't make sense. However, Hogwarts is a fictional fantasy land. At this point, what changes if Dumbledore was white, Asian, Hispanic, black? The character could be any race. And I'm not buying the J.K. Rowling bullshit where she says, I'm not opposed to Hermione being black. I never specified that she's white. Yeah, you did. It's right there. In an unnecessary extra word, by the way, her white face. I wonder why people think she's racist. Why are you unnecessarily pointing out race? And why do people still think this bitch is a good writer? They're a teacher in a magic school. Does it matter where they're from? What does it matter what skin colour they are? It changes nothing. This is my point, because I think Idris Elba would make a fantastic Albus Dumbledore. I think Tandy Newton would be a great Professor McGonagall. These are things that the characters aren't altered. It doesn't matter what was written, because if we want to get rid of racism, that shouldn't be a factor. And, people are comparing it, well, they'd soon kick off if we cast a white person as Black Panther. It's in the name. It's in the name, Black Panther. And he's literally the king of an African tribe. Of course he has to be black! The people kicking off about this are showing how racist they are by not realising the difference. The reason I say there's about 5% of the Potter universe that can't be a person of colour, the people are simple. Lucius Malfoy and his son Draco, their characters are racist. So it makes no sense for the actors to be black. I also think it wouldn't be a good idea to have the Weasleys be black, because they're consistently bullied for being poor and scruffy. It's going to come across as more racist. Speaking of more racist, let's not cast Snape as a black actor. I think J.K. Rowling, because she's got a lot more control with this than she did with the movies, I don't think she's thought this way through. I think she did this to prove that she's not racist, but ironically has made herself look more racist. The reason that Snape shouldn't be a black man is, bear in mind that we get flashbacks to him being heavily bullied by James Potter. We're now going to see James Potter bullying the only black kid. It's not going to look good, is it? And then you get to like present day, for the first, 4 or 5 movies, Harry accuses Snape of everything under the sun. So we're going to have 5 seasons of this show where Harry Potter's just glaring at the only black teacher. Who opened the Chamber of Secrets? I bet it was him. Oh, why is that, Harry? I wonder why you're blaming Snape. Oh my god, this is such a bad idea. You could have cast him in any other role. I'm going to give you an example. It's not woke culture, it's common sense. And with my movie, I was looking for an older person to play Alfred, Batman's butler. And my partner has a colleague who really wants to be in the movie. So she recommended, he would love to be Alfred. And then she goes, he is black, would you mind having a black Alfred? And I was like, we can't have a black Alfred. In this instance, you can't have a black Alfred, because then you've got a black man being a servant to a rich white guy. It's just, no, it's a bad move. It's not woke. It's common decency and common sense. I just wanted to do this video about this update because I was actually one in the minority who was all in for this idea. And now I'm not so sure. I'll probably watch it. I might even review it one day. There will be a more in-depth video discussing this in a few months, but that's all I'm going to say now. Let me know what you guys think. I don't think it's a good idea.